Kosher Wine Podcast with Dr. Kenny Friedman and Rabbi Bernath.
We're back. Hello, Kenny.
It feels like we never left. Actually, it
That's
feels like forever. I'm kidding. It is forever. It's been forever.
Yeah.
I blame you.
Okay.
All your fault.
I accept.
Maybe it's the continental change. I don't know. I'm like looking for excuses, but there are no excuses. It's my fault. It's more my fault,
I
at
am
least.
so happy to be here and to talk wine with you.
And you. It's great to see you. I figured it's been so long, your beard would be like dragging along the floor by now, but it looks about the same. I gotta say,
Look at
you look
that.
younger every time I see you.
You too. You lost a lot of weight.
Did. And anyone that's friends with me on social media, means you're really not friends with me if you're friends with me on social media. I put all of I've been running like a maniac for like 6, 7 months. And the reason I put it all on there because it's one of those things like, you know how I know you're a runner? Because you don't stop talking about it. It's like one of those things. It's like people that drink natural wine.
Right.
No one wants to know, no one cares. And I know that no one cares about my runs. I just don't want everyone to think I'm on Ozempic because
Is
I'm
that a
not.
thing in the US?
It's a big thing. I don't know specifically Ozempic. There's different drugs, I think, but yeah, it's a big thing. I think like
Because
probably if I had to guess in my shul, I would say 95% of people are not. No, I'm kidding. But a lot of people, sure. I mean,
because in Canada nobody would say that. Like it's not a thing here. At least maybe not in my world, maybe in other worlds. But somebody can
why
prove
is
me
it? No,
wrong.
maybe you don't know. What do you mean? Why isn't it
Yeah.
a thing?
Maybe I just don't know.
I mean, no one knows. Some people are like they are not shy to talk about it, but like I don't. What is this podcast about again?
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah, I've been running like crazy, and I've been just been busy, and I eat very healthy, very clean, very clean. I still do drink wine though, which is the purpose of our podcast. I drink wine really only on Shabbos nowadays, and occasionally for a tasting, but um, very very healthy eating, very
Wow.
healthy eating.
And the calories of the wine? I mean, wine has a lot of
Yeah, well,
calories.
that's an issue. My mom, who should live and be well, once recently said to me that before I started losing weight, she said something like, she's like, all that wine you drink has a lot of calories in it. I'm like, yeah, thanks, mom. Thank you. And yeah, of course, I mean, there's no real difference in that in drinking grape juice or something. It's pure calories. It's a
Yeah.
ton of calories.
And that's
But
why everybody likes those extra dry Proseccos and Brutes because there's much less calories in those.
well, lower alcohol is generally lower calories, and yeah, and yeah, that I mean that's I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, that maybe that's why. No, it's okay. You can drink some wine on Shabbos, and like people use always on Shabbos like calories don't count. Shabbos, I'm like calories are clearly counting. You're saying that when you're 40 pounds overweight, then those calories are coming from somewhere.
Exactly. Well, the master of the bubbly, those white bubblies have less calories. So there you go.
Well, I drink them because I love them. I love them. And Hanukkah is coming.
Hmm.
That's the best. I'm doing a tasting at a Chabad, and I told the rabbi. He's like, first of all, he said, "I love Chabad, but as you know, because I am Chabad
Yes, you're
internally."
Gesh.
That's right. But and I was talking to the rabbi, and he's a rabbi of a Russian Chabad, and he said, a lot of these places when you do tastings, they're always a little iffy on budget, and they're iffy on how much to buy. He said, buy whatever you want, it'll get finished.
Oh, you
Because
like
I'm
that.
like, I said, you're gonna get a drinking crowd. He's like, it'll be a drinking crowd. He said they may not know about wine, but they'll drink. And he said, whatever you don't finish, we'll use. So buy whatever you want. So
I
I'm like,
have
it's
not
great.
been doing tastings for Chabad, but I've been doing tastings for a lot of other, like Israel Bonds and
Yeah, they don't drink those people.
no.
Yeah, things are too serious in the Israel bond world. They don't like to drink. No, yeah, it's Chabad's the place. That is the place. But I told him, I said we'll definitely do some bubblies because fried food is like that's a classic pairing for latkes and donuts and things of that nature. So we'll definitely do some bubblies. I'll be in my element,
Now
quite
that
literally.
harvest is over, right? We can start tasting again, and it's going to be KFWE season coming up.
Are you gonna be are you heading to them?
Are you?
Miami?
Miami to December 10th. I just saw that one
Yeah, when
advertised.
is December 10th? Are you
Yeah.
planning on going to that? We didn't talk about that.
That's my intention. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as of now, I'm I'm planning on going, but it's complicated for me. But I'm planning. As of now, I booked my ticket long ago.
The mistake that I made last year, which I won't make again, that was a rookie mistake, is not getting the VIP ticket.
All right. Well, not well. I mean, I hear it. I hear both sides of it. It happens to be you can really like almost just go for that hour, and it's great because there's no one in there, and it's
Right.
like you can drink whatever you want. You can head to that French table and go hog wild.
Exactly.
But
But I think if
it's
you're
a
gonna,
lot.
okay, I don't know if you drove, but if you're flying in, it doesn't make sense to fly in without that VIP ticket. Like that's what I did
Right,
last year,
right,
and
right.
that was a rookie mistake.
Well, I don't pay for my ticket. I don't know if you do, but I don't. They don't give me that VIP access anymore. I don't think for at least
No.
for that
So
one.
that's what happened. I took
And
the
I
I
said you also. I don't remember, but
yes.
not for that one. So maybe worth it to. Right. I don't know. I have to think about that. Look what I found. Look what my wife found. This is going to interest you not in the least. I bet. Are you a baseball guy at all?
I mean, the World Series was Canada versus the US, so that
Right,
was a
right,
big
right,
deal here.
right. But you're a Chicago guy anyway. But
Yeah.
can you see that? Do you know who that is?
Who is that?
Well, that's Mark McGuire.
Oh, Mark
First of all,
McGuire.
I'm making a sale on this. My wife just found it. I'm like, I think that's actually worth a lot of money. Do you
Mark
know Mark
McGuire is
McGuire?
trying to get into the Hall of Fame. I think they're
Right.
him and Sammy Sosa, they're not giving them Hall
Correct.
of Fame status.
Correct. They were steroid guys.
Yeah.
So Mark McGuire should be in the Hall of Fame based on his numbers. I'm not going to get into the topic of whether he should be or shouldn't be. But this was like from his when he played for the Olympics, and it's a card, and I'm putting it up for sale.
Are
I'm
those
gonna trade.
cards
I'll trade it for wine. How about that? Someone could make
are
me an
those
offer.
cards worth anything? I
I
can't
don't
imagine.
know. You know, I
They
looked on
printed.
eBay and I saw someone selling it for $150. I'm like, holy cow. So I don't know what it's actually worth though. I don't know.
They
You know, I did you collect cards when you were growing up?
I did, as many people of my era did,
Right.
and I always wonder if they're worth anything because there were so many printed, and in our era,
Yeah.
people actually collected them, and today I don't even think anyone's really
I think
collecting.
the biggest part of why everything went down is because they still, you know, there were so many and it was so, right. I think so. But yeah, I mean, there's probably some market, but I have no idea. I think I stopped collecting in 1985 or something. So
I'm actually just impressed myself that I knew who Mark
yeah, look
McGuire
at
was and
you.
those
See, there you
stats.
go. But this is it's a rare card. And it was a good find. There was a lot of junk in our basement, but my wife actually found something that was maybe worth something.
Wow, look at that. Now let's talk about wine
Yeah.
because I
What
don't
if,
think anyone is interested in no, I'm joking.
yeah, everyone's interested in everything.
That
You
is
you
true.
always say people are just eavesdropping on our conversations. That's what this is.
It is true. I should not even think about it. And that's our best episodes are when we just talk, you and I, and we talk about whatever's on our mind, and then people get that voyeuristic feeling of eavesdropping on our conversation. And then now when I'm kind of overthinking it and saying, oh, people are actually going to listen to this, that's when everything goes
Sure.
south.
Sure. A lot of people have been reaching out to me to encourage us to get going again.
Same
So,
here.
um, what have you what have you had recently? What's
I
tickled your fancy recently?
So over Sukkot, I had the great uh, privilege of hosting Moises Cohen
Right,
from
I
Elvi
saw that.
Winery. He came to Montreal and we did a bunch of Sukkah events together, which were fantastic. Just sitting with him, he is such an absolute wealth of knowledge. He is, it was just amazing. And for me, I mean, we tasted all of their wines, but for me, what really stood out was that Granazza 22. That was just an incredible bottle of wine. I still think about it. I mean, we opened up. There's not so many of them. I don't even think that you can get them on the open market anymore because
Right,
there were so few of them. But
right,
essentially, what he was saying is that every year they need the Granatza for the closed Masora, and
right.
then there was one that was just such an amazing Granaccia that they did a limited amount because they still need it for the closed Masora, so they did a limited amount of just a varietal Granaccia. And
Right.
it
And
is
it's near impossible to find though. But I think they're readying to put out the next vintage. Am I
they
right?
they just
Just
announced
did.
the release of the next vintage.
Right. Which will be a little more. A little larger, but also very limited and limited allocation of it, I think.
It
Is that
is,
right?
yeah, it was just, I mean, I don't know, maybe just because I like the earth and the fruit and I like that kind of large fruit on my lips, but then the lingering finish and that earth, and it just had a really nice balance of both. And and very, very fragrant. Very fragrant.
It's great wine. I was lucky to taste it, and more than that. You were very lucky to have him. He's a king among men, and the Cohens are like the best family in the world. I love them all. And you somehow attract all these superstars to the frigid north.
I know. I think I'm putting Montreal on the map.
It seems so. It seems so. Honestly, I never even heard of it when we met
Yeah.
Montreal. I
I
don't.
didn't hear of it before I came, so I understand that.
No, I would love to get to Montreal.
I
I saw
always
you
thought
guys.
that you just go north New York and then you just fall off the end of the world.
That's right. That's right. I saw your guy on a commercial. The guy that you did the dual bike thing with,
Oh yeah,
Maddie.
Matty Matheson. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
become
saw
really
him.
famous.
Yeah, he's in a big commercial now. I see it all the time. I don't even watch TV. It's probably in like a football commercial or something. No, it's in a KFC commercial.
Oh really?
Yeah, but he's in it. He's obviously a pretty obviously he got his start on your podcast,
Exactly.
which
We
was
just
my hope too. It is still my hope
you never know. You can make it big like
for,
Maddie.
for superstardom. Wait, I'm getting my first tattoo next week. Um, so what else did you drink with him?
We had the whole line, you know. We had a vertical of Kos Masora, which was the 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. We didn't have any 19s, 20, and then the 21, 22. So that was a really interesting vertical. And obviously Kos Masora, I mean, you know, that's their wine, their flagship. And we had the L26, which has become really popular in Montreal
Why is
um,
that?
because Rav Chaim Pinto, his yortzeit, his Hilula, you can't say yortzeit for the Sephardim, his Hilula is Elul, is the 26th of Elul. And I asked both
That's
David and Moise, I said, did you intend? And obviously they didn't. And so people like, oh, we're going to use it for Rav Chaim Pinto's Hilula, and they go to the kever and they put the bottle on the kever. And so,
what really?
yeah,
What is the 26 though from L26? I don't know offhand.
he just said it was Hashem, it was Kel, right? And 26 was the gematria of Hashem.
Oh,
The gematria of Avaya
not true.
was
Oh,
26.
right.
So that was how, and that's what he said initially, but a lot of people think that it actually implies Elul 26. And I was saying to him that he should do a special run for the Hilula because people really, you know, obviously the Pintos are, you know, the great Chachamim and Sadikim of the Sephardic community, and the Sephardim love, and it's great wine. It's really great wine, that
Yeah.
L26.
My I haven't had one of those in a long time, and I have some like in my cellar for a long time, and my experience is always there that they really just need to lay down for a little while. It's just big wines and
Yeah. Well, Priorat was never a known region. It was never a known appellation, but the wines, I mean, the four kosher wines that I know of from Priorat are all just incredible. As a region.
well, I mean, Priorat is a very old region, but I think as more of a, modern wine and that type of thing, right? But obviously they've been making wine there for many centuries.
Well, it
Um,
was mostly bulk wine, right? It was they were making it as bulk wine. It didn't become a region until probably about 30 years
it
ago,
was
like
one of
as an
these like
official.
monastery type things.
Yeah.
Um, so that I mean, well, it's very hard for me to top your entry wine for the podcast. So I'm
No, but
just
I
gonna.
want to hear what are you drinking?
We haven't done this in so long. I had so many wines, and as I always mention, that I basically have a lot of wines on my recycling counter until I write them up or we talk about them, and they were really piling to the point that I had to throw a bunch of them out. So I
Mm.
lost some of the interesting ones, but I have a lot of still interesting ones. And I'm looking at them right now as they're sitting here. I grabbed 6 bottles and I was like, which one should, and I'm just thinking which one. Well, this is the most recent. I don't know if it's the most recent one I've had, but I got this from our friend Benjamin Weber at the Cellar in Lakewood. It's an exclusive bottling. It's the Viniferia is the line that they
Mm.
produce. It's
I've
just
never seen it.
it's made by Eli Gautier at Cantina Giuliano.
Okay.
So he makes wine special for the Cellar in Lakewood, and they import them and then they sell them. It's not
Ellie's a great guy.
It's not. Yeah, he's a great guy. They came to my house, and Ben Weber, the masterful Ben Weber, drove him in, and in fact, kind of took over my kitchen because he's a far better chef than I am. Have you ever noticed these Lakewood RCCs? You ever notice the food at those things? You ever see pictures and see those at
Lakewood
all?
is becoming like the kosher food capital of North America.
Do you ever see? Well, it's a massive like place, and
Yeah,
and
but
yeah,
the
and there's
food
money
there.
there. There's seen that in Baltimore also, but if you next time you'll see Lakewood RCC, he's very like a humble guy, Ben Weber, and he like doesn't probably want me talking about him, period. But he does the food for those things, and he's really like the guy should be running. I mean, not that anyone wants to run a restaurant; it's a horrible job, but like he's really talented. Anyway, he drove in Ellie Gautier for a Cantina Giuliano tasting here, and it was great. And Ellie actually brought me beef bacon that he made. It was great too.
Well, how far
This
is Lakewood from Baltimore? Just sorry for the.
2.5 hours
Okay,
max.
so it's
Make it
really
fast.
easy.
Not that far, yeah. It's an
Yeah.
easy drive. Um, some people in Baltimore make weddings there because it's cheaper.
Mm.
It's but anyway, this is a unique wine. In fact, to the point. So the cellar has these. They basically make these. The cellar is also Ari Loxpeiser's involved there. A lot of
Hmm.
people know Ari, um, and they have these special runs from. They do, for instance, and I know there have been others, but from Italy they do Cantina Giuliano, and they make exclusive wines. They're not just relabelings of wines they already make. They do one with Shiraz in California that they call Allegory, which I probably talked about on here. I'm pretty sure I have. And they do one in, they've definitely done one with LV, by the way. And they do one in Israel with Tome Winery, which, by the way, you should get those wines. You should try to get those wines. They're really great. And that's Tome Winery is kind
I've
of a
heard about
special.
them. Yeah.
Um, and they call that Mayan. But anyway, this one is a Vernaccia, which I've never had a Vernaccia before. I never even heard of Vernaccia, and it's called Vernaccia. There's zero chance I can read this. I'm going to remember San Gimignano, I think. It's
Hmm.
Vernaccia di San Gimignano, and it's literally only really produced in Tuscany. This grape, at least that's really where it's known from. San Gimignano is the most well-known one. It's also in two different towns in Tuscany. Um, but it's a really unique wine. I'm trying to pull up my notes real fast so I can actually read from them in my tasting, so I don't like do it off my head. But I found like great minerality in it. It's a soft wine. It's aromatic, and it's I'm always very into tasting something I've never tasted before. To me, that's a big thing. You know, it's so easy. There are people that say like, "Well, why would you buy that if that one is the same price and that's better?" I'm like, that may be, but I wanted to try this one. It's very boring to drink the same wine week after week after week. I
Right.
want to try new things.
What's the profile on that grape? Do you know
Excuse me.
offhand?
The profile,
Yeah, like what kind of grape is it? I've never heard of this grape. I was just looking
well,
it up.
it's a white grape that was for years used more like as a blending grape, but in
Mm.
Tuscany they made it. In Tuscany, it was also made into single varietal wine. Um, but let me see what I. So I wrote, because I actually wrote this one up. And that town, San Gimignano, is it's a beautiful town. I mean, I've never been there, but I was looking at pictures and it's a medieval town. They have medieval towers everywhere. It's a very cool looking place. Um, Vernaccia is the historic white varietal from that town. I mean, that is the white wine from San Gimignano.
Mm.
But it's been made for 1,000 years because it's in Dante's Divine Comedy and all other like famous books and works, and there's art about it. So it's been around for a long, long time, but very not well known
It was just a
and never
blending
really
grape.
took off. What's that?
It was just a blending grape.
It's just, I assume it was more just used for, because it never took off. I mean, meaning if it was so great, typically they would, but you see how things change. I look at all these stats and charts, and I read a lot of, I think it's the American Wine Growers Association or something like that. And I look at their stuff all the time, and it's so fascinating to me how even a place like California, the what's planted in California over the course of a half century is vastly different than it was, 50 years ago. It's vastly different, and things change, styles change, and what fetches the most money changes, which is what really changed California. Meaning, part of the reason, let's say in Napa, that there's not more variety of grapes is because Napa Cab fetches the most money. So why would a farmer or someone who has a vineyard grow Sangiovese when he could grow Cab and
But it's
sell it for more
also
money?
so expensive to grow grapes there.
It's
And
very expensive to grow grapes there. So you can't, right, you can't grow a grape. You're not going to be able to get your return on it.
right.
So, but it leads to that monotony a little bit in that you get so while all over the world, and I was just writing about Shibi Drury today, Dr. Drury from Gavaot, he was very involved in identifying indigenous grapes, and there's interesting grapes all over the world. But number one, the vast majority of them don't make very good wine. And then number two, it's just that the business end of it, which is such an important side that we like to forget about.
Hmm.
And you talk to the connoisseurs and whatever, and they're like, I don't know why this and I don't know why that. And I'm like, the answer is very often just money. It's just the business side of it. And for us to tell someone who's running a business, like, you're doing it wrong, you should be making this instead. Like, you're not the one who's taking the risk.
Right.
And so it's like, I get, and that always comes back to that same topic on Israeli Reds. Oh, we want more white wines. We want less alcohol and less fruit and less oak. We want, but you're going to go tell Barkhan, that's an empire,
Right.
that's the biggest winery in Israel, that they're doing it wrong. Well, they're not doing it wrong because they're the number one winery in Israel.
What I
So
what I have seen and I am happier about is that a lot of these boutique wineries in Israel started using Mediterranean grapes, which are truly like they're embracing the fact that Israel is Mediterranean and not just trying to make the best cab that they can. So
yeah,
that is
sure.
a good sign in Israel.
Sure. Kvaud is a good example of a place that does both well, meaning they make great cab, and I had one this weekend. I don't have the bottle in front of me, but I had the Kvaud 2020 cab. It was really delicious.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, nothing like so fancy. That's really, I was thinking that's his second or even third highest level cab because they have the Gofna,
Yeah, the
which
Goffner
is
has
like
a, I was just thinking about the Goffner.
high. Right,
Yeah.
that's like their premier one. But they also, in the winery, only sell, it's called Raz, which is it's a 50-50 Cab Petit Verdot. And it's very expensive and delicious. So there's also that one. And then there's also even someone pointed out to me today the Masada, which is also like 50% Cab. So,
Yeah.
but he is doing plenty of like, French and like Bordeaux style stuff, but he's also does Bituni and what's the other one?
The Vineyard Dance.
Right. He does some of these
Yeah.
like indigenous.
I think that's
So
like but I think that's a Merlot and Cabernet, the Vineyard
I can't
Dance. So
remember
yeah,
what's in
I don't
it.
know if they're doing. I don't remember an indigenous. Oh, maybe the Nave maybe.
Well, I'm telling you, he does Bituni. He does Bituni there, and I had that in the winery, and it tastes very similar to Pinot. It's the same type of profile as a Pinot, which
Mm.
is Pinot is great too. I mean, but someone was saying, and I asked. Mendy Mark, who runs the store in Lakewood. He's very good with this information, labels, and what exactly is. Because someone told me my bottle of 2020 Gvaot Cab was not Mavushal. And someone told me that the last few vintages of Mavushal Cab, he said what's coming to America now is Mavushal, and it's not as good as, and I don't disagree that Kvaut's Mavushal is not as good as the non-Mavushal,
Hmm.
but this one was not Mavushal, and he was surprised. And then um, someone else said, Sam Sofer said he had the 23 that he bought in New York recently, the 23 cab, and it was not Mavushal. So I don't know if anyone knows that information. I'd be curious. Maybe they're importing both. I mean, as some places do, but I don't know.
No, but
I don't
I
even
just looked
remember.
it up, and what I got was Jancis Robinson's site. I just put in Gvaot, and he shows the Gvaot Gafna Pinot 2014 West Bank Palestinian territories.
Yeah, there you go. That's Jancis Robinson's website.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say about that, but I'm gonna write off a strongly worded letter to
I,
Miss Robinson.
I will echo that letter. I will write one as well. That's quite shocking.
In fact, we should put something together from our podcast listeners.
Yes, I think it's quite shocking. I just the first thing that came up for Gvaot also on Google, which was shocking as well.
Well, I mean, she's Jancis Robinson has a lot of reach, so if she writes something, it gets a lot
Thing
of
with
hits.
that, I think we need to help Gvaot over there because if that's the first thing coming up about when I just put in the word Gvaot and that's the first thing that came up.
Um, I can't wait till Amichai finds out about this. I think we
Yeah,
talked about this once, but when I
I
went to
love Amichai. I love him.
he's great. But when we went to, I can't remember if you were there, but it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, whenever it was, when the Jewish Link did their tasting. Were you at that one?
Yes, I was with you. Yeah.
And okay, and
And when we walked, that
but
was,
you remember the protest and
you had to,
everything,
in order to
and it
get
was
in,
really
you had to get
because
through
of
the protest.
Amichai. It was because
Yeah.
of Amichai, and he loved it. He loved it. He loved it. He loved it. He caused the protest. I felt bad for the Jewish Link, of course, because they didn't deserve that, and of course, no one deserves that. It's idiotic. But um, anyway, that was really unique wine. I thought it wasn't just unique because it was Vernaccia, and I never heard of it. It has a unique flavor profile. They call it in the cellar. They call it their winter white. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by that.
Mm.
Excuse me. I'm not exactly sure what they mean. I think they're just selling white wine in the winter and coming up with a catchy. I'm sure he'll correct me afterwards, but they make a big deal about drinking this on the label. Even it says drink it at room temperature. But I do that with all white wine, as you know, and I would see why with this wine because there's all kinds of aromatics that I tend to believe almost with something good that's white to me. Drink it, at least try it at maybe not room temperature but cellar temperature, a little warmer than when it's so cold. You just don't you lose so much of the
I mean, if you're having a white wine that cold, you should just get a $10 wine because
right
anything at that
or a
temperature
can
is
of
going to,
Moscato.
exactly, anything at that temperature is going to taste amazing, refreshing, as they say.
Yeah, sure. And it's like, right, if you're going in the pool, get a $10 rosé. It's great. And ice cold, it's
Yeah,
great. I'm not gonna fight you on that. I want that.
right.
And I do the opposite, by the way. If it's a terrible white wine, I'll throw some ice cubes in it because I'll drink it if it's ice cold. I don't care.
Hmm.
That may mean I have a problem, but if that's what I have and that's all there is, then no, I'm still drinking it.
No, but a nice white or rosé refreshing is refreshing. I mean, you can't take that away from the
Right,
value of that wine.
right. It just loses some of the aromatics and
Right.
the mouthfeel a little bit. Listen, the same thing goes for a red wine. I don't drink things right out of, first of all, for sure not out of a wine fridge, but even out of my cellar. My cellar is pretty cool, and I like to let it warm up a little bit, and certainly at a minimum in the glass. And the old shtick is you palm the same reason you don't put your palm under the bowl of the glass, even when you have a stem one. You could obviously hold it that way. Same reason you don't do it to it makes it warm is if it's a little chilled, it's a good idea to do it to help warm it up a little bit. Wrap your hand on it.
Mm.
That's what I do at least. I'm not saying that's just maybe I saw that. What other wines have you had?
So I got these two wines. I had never seen them before, and so I like Italian wine and I like Primitivo, and there were two Primitivos that just came out from Masso Antico. Have you seen them?
Yes.
And one of them
Do you have it in
was
front of you?
I don't have it in front of me. I threw it out because I figured that we weren't getting together. So, but what was it? I was actually saving the bottle because one of them was an ice wine. So it's a dry red wine that is ice, and it's very sticky. But basically, when you put it in the fridge, the red label on the front turns blue from being cold. I know it's sticky, but it's really cool. I mean, we had it in the sukkah, and everybody was like, "Whoa!" And then you see, like over the course of the evening, as you're pouring it, the label turns red again. It was just sticky but fun.
I have not had it. I've seen this bottle. Is this one is a Apposito method? That's what it
Yes,
says on the label. So
exactly.
that's very interesting. Where did you find this? I've never had it either.
Yeah, I got it. I was able to pick it up here in Montreal. They had it, and it was really
Huh.
different. I never had a dry red wine that is meant to be chilled. Have you ever had a dry red
Yeah,
wine?
yeah. Yes. I'm trying to remember over the years. First of all, I tend to think that, some wines like a style like Beaujolais Nouveau, something like
Mm-hmm.
that, as well chilled.
Right.
And I'm very bad at recalling wines right out of my head. But yeah, sure. Some wines do well, and like that's a style like that. Sure.
So I ended up having it chilled, and over the course of the evening, it was unchilled, and then I have to say it tasted better chilled. I got it.
It says Masso Antico Primitivo Ice. Is it actually called that?
Yes, it's called the
Like Bud
Primitivo
Ice.
Ice. Yeah.
Right. I
I,
don't go for shtick on like wine. Like, it's
I
like
know. That's what I
like
knew you were going to say that, but it wasn't. Yes, it's
I don't
sticky,
even
and it's a
you didn't
fun
lose
bottle.
me. You didn't lose me on the label thing. I think that's cool. I don't like it's called ice. Like what? It's like that feels very cheap to me.
The funny
It
thing
feels
is,
like Bud Ice.
in Canada, they had an issue because Canadian ice wine is this kind of really sweet, syrupy ice wine. Like it's a known type of wine. So they had it in the liquor commission here, and people thought it was a sweet ice wine and were buying it and then returning it. So they had to they put a
So
sign on
interesting.
there saying this is a dry wine.
That's so interesting. But well, did you like it? Did you say? I don't think I heard if you said if you liked it or not.
It was different. I mean, like you said, I don't like to have, like you, just the same
Sure.
wines over and over. It was something I never had before. I've had a Beaujolais Nouveau cold. That is true, but I haven't really had like a Primitivo. It was more of like an earthy, bolder wine, and it was cold, and it had a unique flavor that I hadn't had before. And they have another one that I had,
Cool.
which was
Yeah.
which is a lot of bottle. A lot of bottle. The bottle must have weighed at least 7 pounds. It's called
Right.
the Le Amphore, and it's a also a dry. It's a Primitivo that's aged in an amphora. I know it's becoming more popular in Israel and in California and in the kosher world in general, aging the wines in amphoras, so you get the mineral flavors versus the oak.
That
And
same Masso Antico.
yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it was the same one. And yeah, it was also another unique wine. It was just I don't know if I can compare it to anything. But it was, yeah, it was definitely, it wasn't the typical kind of bold oakiness that you would
Uh-huh.
expect in a wine like that, but it's a lot of bottle. I understand that in the wine world at large, there's an issue that people are having with these very heavy bottles. Like, why are you putting the wine in these 5, 6, 7 pound bottles? Like, it's a lot
Mhm.
of bottle for a bottle you're going to throw out. And I know there's like a big move to not do that in the wine world in general. I think in the kosher world, because of, I'm not going to mention them, but certain wines that have become name brands are usually the wines that are in 5 pound bottles.
Well, I have one right here.
Oh, yeah?
Make that my next one.
Okay.
Because it's much maligned. And this one isn't. I wouldn't say it's much maligned, but the brand is maligned by a lot of our wine snob friends and whatever, and it's the Cave. And
Yes.
it's hurting my arm to lift it.
Exactly.
But it's
It's a lot of bottle.
this is the Old Vines Cave 2019, and I have to say It was delicious. I really enjoyed it. It's very expensive wine. But I paid that price? No. This was a gift from a very close family friend
Did it come in the wooden
whom I
box?
love. It came in the box.
Oh
It came
wow.
in that, yeah,
Yeah,
which
that wooden box. Yeah.
I I still have it because you like almost feel bad throwing that out, that thing. It's kind of cool. So I like throwing corks in there right now. It's actually, you know what it would be good as is it's a good tzedakah box. You just cut a little slot in the top because there's like a cork on top.
Oh yeah, that's a good
You really
idea.
spend a lot of money on packaging. So it's all, but this was sometime during Sukkot, I think, when I drank it, but I've kept it around because I just like, it's a type of, the lower end cave, I think people say is not even good or whatever. I can say that I very rarely drink the cave. It's very big in the Heimish world, in the Hasidish world, and whatever. And it's also because of Hashkachas on it, I guess, and whatever. But it's become, you have the cave, you have the cave. The cave is like that on that level in that world. But is it worth it? This one's actually not mavushal, by the way. A lot of the regular cave, I think, is mavushal, right? Because
Yeah.
that's
No, they have both. They
they
have
both
both.
they have both, yeah.
It's hard.
Um,
It's
but
hard for me to justify that price.
yeah, I think this is like a $200 bottle. I mean, it's like 180,
Yeah.
the old vines, especially because it was an older vintage that he brought me. It was really delicious though. I mean, like I can't argue. Like, when it comes down to it, yeah, there's two parts of it, and you are paying that price. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't hear, but so you do have to judge wine on its price. But judging this wine on its content, it was delicious. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good wine.
But I think
Um,
that you and I, we don't know anything to anyone, and we do care about QPR.
oh, sure.
And
Sure, I
so,
do, but if I'm judging this wine based on its quality, it was great quality. It was delicious, and it was not over the top. It was certainly ripe in New World, very obviously New World, but very controlled and powerful still. So I thought and I didn't go in expecting that, I would have to say. I was like kind of like this is going to be so over the top,
mm,
and it was not at all. It was really good.
I'll
But
tell
that
you,
has
and
to do with the old vines and whatever, but it
somebody
was great.
brought somebody brought me over Sukkot a cave, a regular cave. It was one of the newer vintages of 21, and it was very corky.
Yeah, well, this one was good. And I feel like I could get away with giving someone this as a gift and just closing it up because it feels like a full bottle of wine.
Right. It's so heavy. It's a lot of bottle.
It's so
And
heavy.
that and for I also like these bottles, like I don't understand why you need so much bottle, but I know like even the other one that's become really popular now in certain circles is the Isaac's Ram, also a lot of bottle.
Yeah, they're heavy bottles too. I like how you say in certain circles. You keep saying in certain circles.
Well, is it in our circle? Is it popular? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, I know plenty of people that drink. What did you just say?
Isaac's Ram.
That drink Isaac's Ram. I know plenty of people that drink Isaac's Ram and love it. You know, back in the day, I really liked which one that Merlot they made. And it
The
was years.
Pardis. Yeah, the Pardis is good. It's very
Yeah,
fruity.
Pardis. I'm talking like 15, 20
Yeah.
years ago. I
Yeah.
don't know when. Long
Those
time
oh
ago.
03, oh 04
It,
Pardis bottles were like they were actually tasted more like cabs. Very fruity cabs.
yeah, that's probably true. I think it's Masso Antico. I don't know why I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it was just something I never saw it before, and I
Yeah.
was like, hey,
No, but
I'm
that's
gonna try
interesting
this.
that at Passamento, and it didn't seem like so expensive. And Passamento is
Mm-mm.
a pretty expensive method to make a non-expensive wine. So
Correct.
I don't know
Which is to me was like QPR. Wow, this is really not expensive for what it is. I got to try this.
if it's good. Then yeah. If
Yeah.
it's actually good. Just because it's cheap doesn't make it QPR.
It was fun. If you
And
like a
vice versa.
Primitivo, if you like Italian wine, you know, yeah, I think it was like a younger sister to Amarone. I like an Amarone.
Um,
I like a
yeah, I don't know. I
Barolo.
have to see if I can get my hands on this.
Yeah.
Well, this has been sitting for a while because I've been meaning to write it up. It's a unique bottle, and this is also new from Sagi Kleinlair, who's the GM at Covenant. This is his Skin Context Chenin Blanc. I'm going to save a lot of what I'm going to say because I'm going to write it up. and I don't want to bore everyone, but it's an orange wine. It's skin contact. It's a very unique wine. I really enjoyed it.
Can you just,
People,
before you said orange wine because people always ask me this, and I think it's great for us to educate. Explain what an orange wine is.
it's made out of oranges.
That was
Yeah,
good.
it's made by they mix orange Fanta into it. It's orange wine is called orange wine because of the color. It turns an orangish version of a white wine. It's darker, and it's because of skins being left in the wine, which is what gives wine color. So because of that extended, normally it's crush and pull the skins in white wines. Leaving the skins in not only gives it color, but it gives it more body, more character, but it also gives it some more unique aspects. Like you may find tannins in white wine where that's not something you normally are used to seeing. That real dry mouthfeel that you get from tannins, and you'll get even sometimes with orange wine something that may be off-putting to people, and it's almost like a beer-like type of bitterness. It's the same reason you get the more tannins because of the skin contact and even with the seed contact. What has the most tannins in it, seed skin, also has that bitterness with it. So I like that. I really love that, and it has almost like a beer profile to it. I
Mm.
always think beer when I'm drinking orange wine. Not always, but very often because that's kind of like a connecting characteristic of it. Chenin Blanc though is cool anyway. I mean, Chenin Blanc is very aromatic. It's I feel like Chenin Blanc doesn't get enough love, and I don't think there's enough great kosher Chenin Blanc or even good kosher Chenin Blanc. But there was one I had very recently while I'm on the topic, and it's in my head. I don't have it in front of me. And this is an interesting story, which I think I'm allowed to say, but I don't care because I'm not beholden to anyone. But there's a label out there now, which maybe it's called, I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's Baron de Mamour, I think is what it, yeah. Baron de Mamour is the label. I had never seen it. I got my hands on the Chenin Blanc, and there is I think it's a Sauvignon Blanc. Doesn't matter. Let's talk talking about the Chenin Blanc for now. I loved it, the Chenin Blanc. I thought it was delicious. And, as with any wine, I started looking it up, who produces it, whatever. And very quickly I found out that Baron de Mamour is just it's just a label of Villebois, of
Mm.
Juste de Villebois, which is and they have many labels. They have like 10 labels. One of them is Baron de Mamour. The reason and Royal wanted them to produce, I think, another. There's a whole real like business reason why they did Villebois and Mamour. By the way, I hope it's Villebois. I'm gonna look it up while I'm talking. But it's the exact same wine as the other one. It's just and it's the same price and all that, but it's really really delicious. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it. It sounds really good. I cannot think, as you were talking, I cannot think of a Chenin Blanc that I've had that I'm like, wow, I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I happen to always think, by the way, that Baron Herzog, like $10 Chenin Blanc, always solid. Always solid. If I'm buying any of those $10 Baron
You
Herzogs,
would go for the
it's
Chenin.
that. Yeah, yeah. One year, I feel like it was a 2019, the cab, once in a while, that cab is pretty drinkable. But yeah, I'm not, the $10 Chenin Blanc is great. I wrote it up here. Yeah, it's Villebois. I was right. I did some digging and learned it's a DBA label, doing business as label for Domaine Villebois, the growing Loire Valley family winery and vineyards. I love Villebois, by the way.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite. They just put out great quality wines at
I just
very
had their new
fair prices.
Sancerre was amazing.
So good. So good.
Really good. They have
So
a new Pinot they put out this year. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's one wine I didn't love, that recent Pinot, but yeah, they just put out great value wines, and like
Hmm.
I never like making a big deal about that because I always feel like, oh wait, we're undercharging. Not that they care what I say, but um, I have two, three more wines, but I want to let you talk about what else you got.
So I had one that I hadn't ever had before over Sukkot. Somebody brought it, and I actually this winery really hasn't popped up for me. Maybe you know it better than me. The Mia Lucy Winery.
Hmm.
Do you know anything about them?
Yes, Mia Luce is Kobe Arviv. It's his personal winery. You know,
Okay,
who's always been very involved with that is Yossi Horowitz.
really,
Um, but it's Kobe is the winemaker from a second it'll pop into my head. But it's his personal that's his that's his the same
his
way like John Haydu has it that's his
right, his
wine.
playground. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what did which one did you have?
So I had the Syrah stems. It was an unfiltered wine, so there was some sediment there. And I I'm generally like not I don't love a Syrah, but I really enjoyed it. It was a 2019, and I was amazed. Yeah, I mean it was very. I just looking at some notes that I had written. Um, you know that there it was. I guess that you can taste like that whole cluster. I know like there's been other Israeli whole cluster Syrahs that I've had before, and I've liked them, and so that's why this was interesting to me.
Right.
But it was very fresh. It was spicy. It had a little bit of earth, and I think that it was a unique Israeli sirah. It did not. It wasn't just kind of what I would taste one of those like kind of typical Shiraz or sirah wines from Israel. So
So he's and of course I saw him sitting in his office and talked to him. He's a winemaker at Recanati, Kobe,
okay,
who's obviously, we're both big fans of Recanati
yeah,
and he's a great
fantastic,
winemaker. So
fantastic.
Mia
Yeah, I
Luce,
hadn't
yeah,
seen.
that's something we've never discussed the Mia Luce, so I'm glad you brought that up. And that's I don't drink enough Mia Luce. Should
Hmm.
get my hands on some of those. Um that's which one was it you said? The 20
It was the 2019 Syrah and stems.
you're on stems. Yeah, it's funny, I also am not a huge fan of Syrah, and then I'll have one that I love, and of course, as you know, Syrah makes like half their wines are Syrah, it seems like, and I tend to love their wines, so I shouldn't say I don't love Syrah, but it's just not my general, like the classic Rhone Syrah is not really my style. It's like
Right.
very gamey and meaty, that kind of thing. It's just not really my style so much. Um, I had oh, I was lucky to get this really. This is the Arnaud Beaune. It's a Premier Cru Beaune. Have
Oh,
you
I've
been
heard
able to
about
get it?
this. No, I haven't had it. I heard
It's
about it.
impossible to get. I mean, there are literally only like 700 bottles of them, but
How was that?
someone I know Corvined it and then saved it for me. Um, it was great. I mean, it's probably very expensive, I'm sure, but it's a Premier Cru bone. For those who don't know, which means it's Pinot Noir from one of the great regions in Côte d'Or in in Burgundy,
Hmm.
and it was great. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it because you're not. I thought about whether I should even bring it on here because it's like no one can go out and buy that here. It's not here. Can't get it. Maybe I shouldn't say that. The one person, Zev Steinberg, I think, had something to do with it, and he's the guy you should contact if you want to try to get it. He probably has some, and it's worthwhile. It's Premier Cru Burgundy, and that's we don't get a lot of that. And I was lucky to taste it.
Did you pay
Um,
for it?
I did not pay for it. A friend gave it to me.
Okay, how much do you think
And
how
in
much
the
you think that's
industry
gonna
gave it to
it's
me.
got to be I mean a
I
Burgundy
think it's
alone
like
is a
80, I
fortune.
think it's 80, $90. I don't think it's
Yeah.
like obscene and prohibitive like on that level, but it's expensive. I'm gonna look it up. Um, it was this one. Let me look it up. Oh, so Elk sells it for 120.
Okay.
And it looks like he has it, so I guess you can get it. There you go.
Well, Elk figures out a way to get stuff.
Elk
So, I'm not
figures out
surprised.
a way. Elk figures out a way. Um, so yeah, there you go. Elk, or I guess F. Steinberg is another guy.
So
100,
I had one
120.
I had one that I wasn't going to bring up, but similar to yours, I thought also it's really hard to get, but I was blown away.
What
So,
was that?
I mean, all of us, I don't know about you, but I have dreams sometimes of maybe one day the Petrus going kosher,
Of
doing
what? Say again?
of Chateau Petrus doing a kosher wine.
Petrus, yeah.
Like
And
maybe one day. And then
yeah,
I noticed this label and it looked like the Petrus. So that's why
you're
I picked it up.
you're not going to be
And
able to afford Petrus if it ever
no, I'm
becomes.
sure I'm not, but I just saying. So it looked like a Petrus label. It's the Chateau Traînant. Have you seen it? It's a Saint
Yes, I have. Yes.
it's a Saint-Emilion Grand Cru, and I just it was young. I had the 2022, and
Yeah.
it was the best bottle of wine I have had so far this season.
Yeah, it's great wine.
It
It,
was wow. If you can get your hands on a bottle of this, it
yeah,
was
I
amazing.
think that's it. I think like kosher wine has it, I'm pretty sure. I mean
Yeah.
we could look while we're talking,
I mean,
but
I definitely I bought four and I had one and I have three in my cellar because I just think that it was something. I mean, I mean, it depends if you like that kind of Saint-Emilion Grand Cru, but it was one of the best I've ever had.
yeah, I mean it's right up my alley. I mean it's fantastic wine. And yeah, Saint Emilion is of course up my alley. I love Merlot and that's I don't remember the blend on that. I'm sure it's a Merlot based wine because it's where it's from, but it's Grand Cru. I mean, what do they charge for that wine? That's probably also $100. I
Yeah, it was like
mean,
$100.
yeah.
It's like $100, but like it was cherry and plum and mineral, and it was like there was some green there. I mean, I'm just looking at some notes that I wrote, and spicy and oak
Yeah.
and had dark fruit and um what was also interesting that it just everything was like very balanced acidity and um it was fruity, but it wasn't over the top fruity, which a lot of those Saint Emilion Grand Crus are very fruity over the top.
Yeah. You're right in that it looks like I had to look that up for myself. It does look like that picture was like, oh,
I know that's why I grabbed
funny.
it.
Funny. That type of thing, I would think even like Petrus would like sue them for because it is very similar.
Yeah,
They go after everything there. They go
yeah.
after, you know who always talks about it is what's his name? He loves talking about like the former winemaker from I'll think of it in a second. I wanted to say one more thing about that Arnaud Bayot that Burgundy that I just showed. Um, it's an interesting story, Arnaud Bayot, because he's that guy's in the game for like 8 years. He bought that winery in 2017, and he's like buying up a bunch of land. He's already producing great wines and making kosher. It's a very interesting
Wow.
thing. He's like a real like young rising star. This guy, that's his name, Arnaud Bayot, and
I've never heard
it's
of them. It sounds amazing.
so these Royal had, these were like the first vintage, and I imagine like next year there'll be a bigger, um, I'm sure there'll be a larger, what's the word I'm looking for? They'll produce more. But this year, I feel like I heard they only produced like 700 bottles kosher or something like that, very small. So I was lucky to get it, but yeah, it's so cool. All these regions and like really getting you're getting Premier Crus and Grand Cru and like these getting just some of the best wines in the world and being made kosher. Some of the best regions and like
I
it's just
feel
so
so fortunate. Like they made it just for me. Like why should these chateaus even care about kosher?
well. I used to buy into the very I used to think like yeah they because when you ask them they're like we want it available for everyone like I mean I think especially in in these really famous places they sell out of their wine anyway
Right.
so why are they doing it you really
Exactly.
so I mean you maybe can make a case that they're doing it because they want everyone to be able to have it but the other case I can be made is because they're making more money doing it because they sell it for more money
Yeah.
so it is it's not probably as altruistic as a rabbi of a shul would like to think, the guy I'm talking to with the big beard. What can I say? As I older I get, maybe I'm more cynical about wine
Well,
and
I think that they made it just for me, and I am
maybe
so
that's for sure.
appreciative of their
Yes.
altruism. So,
L'Ishem Rabbi Bernath.
exactly.
As I was writing about, because I was writing about Benyo, our boy, the legend himself. I had a friend made a yard site see him this week that I went to, and he opened the Four Gates Malbec, and it was so good. And I wrote it up, and I always put that in there because I don't know, Benyo is literally at the top of that making wine l'shem mitzvah. I mean, the man does it all himself, and he truly makes it l'shem mitzvah. Like he's making it so you have a wine for Kiddush. It's
I will tell you
why
actually,
he
I
still
called
does
him
it.
up and I said if you're pulling like if you're harvesting, if you need some help, let me know. He's like, no, I have help this year. So I said I was really happy to hear that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Maybe Josh Rinderman is flying in, putting. He has
Exactly.
to get back. He has to get back to his
To his wi-
bi-hemispheric winemaking. Now that he's
to,
only in
to his
South Africa.
winemaking roots
Yeah, his winemaking roots.
in the
He
Santa
actually
Cruz
he
Mountains.
gave me some good information on that Malbec, which I meant to edit into my piece because he was probably involved in making it. In 2019 for sure was. Um, that was another special one I've had recently. So that was, I mean, how do you top those? I
Yeah,
want to
but
read
even
through.
even Josh's Malbec was amazing. I was with Binyamin in Montreal and we opened up one of Josh's Malbecs and he was like, this is the best Malbec I've had.
He wrote on my thing because Malbec is not a state. It's Benio buys those grapes,
Right.
and he wrote this Malbec, like all of Benio's Malbecs, comes from a small vineyard in the Santa Cruz Mountains on the Gilroy side. It's farmed by a real old-timer Italian. It's a special block that achieves superb ripeness, which was very much. It's another example. Like I think I almost try not to use the word ripe when I write reviews or
Hmm.
notes because so many people take it the wrong way, and it's like, it's going to be over the top. Wine can be ripe and beautiful, and that's a perfect example of wine. I mean, it's such ripe fruit, but it's beautiful. Meaning, like, why is ripe a bad thing? If you're picking a fruit out to eat, what are you picking out? You're picking out a ripe fruit because it's going to achieve that like beautiful sweetness and obviously
Right.
if it's overripe is a different story, but ripe is not a bad word in wine.
What was the primary note on that one?
Um, I'll pull it up. I wrote perfume nose of ripe. See, that was the first word I used. Perfume nose of ripe dark fruit, blackberry, black cherry, black plum, blue fruit,
Hmm.
vanilla, tobacco, cedar, full-bodied, medium chewy tannins, medium plus acid, velvety and luscious. I wrote because that was like the one thing. It was just like, yeah, it's like so delicious, and
Hmm.
it's such like that. There's something unique about his wines. I don't know. I mean, I always when I see the label, my pheromones start up. I think. But so maybe I should taste these blind. But it was so luscious and velvety and what a beautiful wine. And he's certainly like, I don't know. I mean, I don't see the man losing his touch in any way. I mean, it's riper than it used to be. I don't disagree with that. Some of his wines are riper, but he's still making world-class wine. You have to pay for it a lot more than you used to, which I don't blame him for. He
Yeah.
undercharged for a long time.
January's coming soon.
I know. I was thinking about that recently. I have to put a second mortgage on my home and also not tell my wife. Anyway, I had the other couple ones I have floating around here is I
Yeah.
have
Tell
this
us.
this was fantastic, and this was the Le Marronier, which is also just so good,
Yeah, I've had that
almost across the
recently.
board.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I see this Le Marronier, and I also am thinking like $30 wine, $30 wine. Look at the words on the bottom. Can you see it? It
Yeah,
says
it's a Grand
Chablis
Cru. Yeah.
Cru.
Yeah.
This is not an inexpensive wine. This is a $90 wine with the same label as all their wines that are 30 or $20. It was fantastic. And it's funny because like I honestly, it was like, I got this as a sample and I didn't even look closely at it. I was like one of those big meals and I pulled it like that. And I pulled this out and I'm like, I wanted to try the new Le Marronier Chablis before. And I popped and I was like, Grand Cru. It's delicious though. And I think to me it's worth the money. I wouldn't necessarily say
Yeah.
it's QPR, but it's fantastic. I'm not a Chardonnay guy at all. I have come around a lot to Chablis and that style. I don't like Oaky Chard anymore, almost at all. I don't drink Oaky Chard, really any of them, unless it's like really a soft touch. And of course, this is on oak. This has oak, but that style of Chablis and the Grand Crus Chablis,
Hmm.
it's so, it's so elegant and it's so well done. And it was really, really delicious and a special one.
It's
I'm
amazing.
talking too much. What about you?
No, I'm thinking it reminds me. I haven't had that Grand Cru, but I did have. There's a Premier Cru.
Yeah, they
Um,
make a Premier Crus. They
yeah,
make a Premier Crus under that label.
and that was really good. I didn't,
Yeah,
and that was just if you like that Chablis, if you like that the mineral
yeah,
and those really strong shards, it's really good.
yeah. The minerality is obvious. And they do. They make a Premier Crus and then they make the regular Chablis. Um, which is again, it's another example of we're getting just like, these are high-end wines that are being made kosher,
Yeah,
made just for you.
I do feel that, and maybe you can laugh at me, but I'm like
I'm not laughing at you.
somebody needs to appreciate that this is happening, and that the only bottle of wine that I will smell or drink ever in my life is going to be a kosher bottle of wine,
Same,
and
same.
I have access to world class wines, and I am very appreciative of it, and I support it.
Well, I'm also feeling very cynical today because I was just looking at my fantasy football score and it's a rough day, and I don't want to talk about that. It just
Okay,
ruins my whole day. I know that's something you're not into, and I'm probably too old for that, but whatever. I don't think football's interesting to me necessarily otherwise, so I still do it. Um, but
all
it
good with
ruins
me.
my Sundays when I lose. And by the way, I know that you're not interested in it, but probably half people here are like listening or are probably interested. Um, the last one I have, I'll bring it up real
Are the
fast. I
the
can't
Rams your
remember if I
team?
talked about this, but I have I really need a new camera. The Landsman Pinot Noir, the new 24
And how
Covenant
was?
Landsman Carneros, and it was delicious. And I drank it side by side with good friends with two other Pinots. One, because it was a perfect side by side, was John Haydew's
Hmm.
Pinot.
Which is
Very different
only,
style, very
but
different
I
style.
think his Pinot is only available through Yossi, right?
No, 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 now it used to be the case, right? But not now. He sells that on his website.
Okay.
Um, and very different style. Both great. Yeah, John's style. First of all, John's is I don't want to talk about it without like, but it's very. I think it's Willamette Valley. I feel like I talked about this, but very new world and like with oak and much more fruit and that type of thing. The Landsman after a hiatus last year where they went very burgundy in style and it was super light and that style and very acidic. This year is back to more of a New World style, but still much more like more elegant style versus the power of
The Haydu is Sonoma,
John's. Oh,
Sonoma
it is
Bennett
Sonoma,
Valley.
okay.
Yeah.
But very, very New World in style.
Hmm.
But both of them were great. And then the third one I had, which I have not had in a long time, is the shoot, what is it called? It has this circular. Why don't you talk about? I'll think of it in a second. Why don't you talk about? Do you have any other wines
No,
that you?
I mean I've had so many wines since our last conversation, uh, but nothing that
I
I'm
may have to
thinking.
jump in the other room to grab it. I'm not going to give a very
Circular,
positive,
a circular
what,
Pinot.
a cheap one, I actually forget it even exists. I'll find it in a second. It's a very inexpensive one. I'll think of it in a second. But it was not good. It was not good.
Oh, so maybe let's not talk
It's been
about
out
it.
forever. Oh, the Borgo Bella.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, it's $20. I thought it was like a $10 wine. It used to be a $10 wine. $20 now.
Yeah.
That is $20 too much money for that wine.
Mm.
I honestly I couldn't even really. I don't say wine's undrinkable, and I did drink it. I had a glass of it, and I was like, it was the end of the night, and I someone gave it to us because they weren't. It was my father-in-law. They don't drink wine, and like someone brought it over and it was open, so he gave it to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm curious to drink that because I haven't tasted one of those in 10 years probably. And I'd like to drink those inexpensive like Borgo Bellas. I
Yeah.
really like a lot of those wines. Borgo Bella is a brand, but and I like a lot of their wines over the years, but this was just in a million years I wouldn't have guessed it was Pinot Noir. In a million years. It was just like standard
I mean, it's Italian.
wine,
It's Italian.
standard plonk wine. It was
Italian
just
Pinot. But Pinot is a really hard wine to make and really hard wine to make well.
well, they exemplify.
I did have a Pinot recently. My very close friends, childhood friends, Rabbi A.Y. Pearlstein, who's the Chabad rabbi in Salem, Oregon, he makes the Horizon Pinot,
Right, which is very good.
and it's amazing. And
Yeah,
I just opened the bottle.
very good. And that's what I've been drinking. I mean, that's some of what I've been drinking. I miss seeing you. I miss you.
Yeah, same here.
And you do look good. I'm looking at my Instagram thing to see if I had any. I had a lot of interesting wines recently. I had that. I'm not gonna bore everyone any longer, but I had an old Shiraz 2014 Thompson Vineyard Syrah. That was awesome. That was on
Who's still
Sotheby's.
alive?
It was great. I mean, it was tertiary, but I loved it. Oh, you know what was great?
Old
This
Band-Aid?
brand is, sorry.
Old Band-Aid to your sherry?
I had this Traversa, I don't remember which one. Traversa, Italian wine, Barbera,
Mm.
De Asti. I wrote that one up. It's like everything I love about
I
Italian
like a
wine.
Barbera d'Asti. I like the Daci. The Daci has a really good one. I like those wines. They're not
Those
expensive.
wines are, yeah. This is a higher end one, and really it's a special one. I had the most recent Rothschild Medoc wine, Haute Medoc wine,
Yeah.
the
How was that
22, which
one?
is great. I think that's I don't use the term that much, but it's a QPR wine because I think it's the best one I've ever had, and I think it's a great wine because and one of the examples of why I would think that, or one proof of why I think that is that I had about a third of the bottle left for nearly 2 weeks, and it just got better. It was just really
Wow.
fabulous wine. Um, and it's Moshel. So
Wow.
that was cool. I had a Yafo Merlot, which I thought was very nice. Reserve. It was not the regular Merlot. I don't even know if they have a regular one, but Reserve Merlot, which is not cheap. It was probably like $40 wine, but it was very nice. You get Yafo up there?
I do get Yafo. I actually had the cab reserve not long ago, 2020. It was great.
I like their wines.
Hmm.
Um, and I had, speaking of the Passamento method, this is a Capnios. The winery is Masseria Fratasi. This is like a
Mm.
Ralph wine, Capnios, it's called. It's Aglianico, and it's a Passamento version. It
How
really
was
awesome.
that?
So good. So good. Also expensive, but so good. Um, and this is the last one I'll bring up. I'm not looking back that far, by the way. I had and I tasted this at KFWE last year, but it was Yaakov Uriah's Pinto Winery. Yaakov's the winemaker at Pinto Winery, I should say. The Wadi Shualim.
That
Which
isn't
is a
that
red blend. It's a
I
very Yaakov red blend.
I just had it this week. It was fantastic.
I thought it was interesting. You know what the blend is
Really.
on that? You remember?
I don't know what it was, but I just had it this week and I really liked it.
I mean, I could tell you, I was testing you. It's Grenache, Merlot, Syrah, Petit Verdot, and Malbec.
Yeah, all his wines are like, the SOB has like
Yeah, it's a
five or six
Yaakov.
grapes. They all have a lot of grapes.
I
You
thought it
didn't
was
like
a
it?
good effort. I mean, I thought it was like a good, like a nice effort. I could tell that this winery is going to produce good wine
They,
within,
a lot
10
of
years.
people hate on these Negev wines, but you have to.
I
They're
don't know
sun
why.
baked.
I don't.
They're sun baked, and so there's a certain like flavor profile to them. But I think they're really good.
I thought that I think Pinto is going to be a very good winery in a short time frame.
Yeah.
Um, and they have the right team because they have a very energetic owner and a great winemaker. So
I had the Grenache recently. I really liked the new Grenache. The new
yeah, I
Malbec
like
was really good.
that. Um, but that's it. And how
Since
long has this been? Three and a
I don't
half
know how
hours?
long it's been,
I
but
feel like
maybe
we
I have a question for you for
yeah.
for those people who waited this long. They can get. I have a people talk about positions. The feeling I'm getting from tasting the 22 Bordeaux's is that 2022 is a fantastic year in Bordeaux, like off the charts.
That's what they say.
Is
That's
it,
what they say.
but do you agree with that?
I mean, on the ones I've tasted so far, they certainly. I I never like to assume anything from what I hear. So I didn't immediately buy into like, so many people were saying 2021 was bad. I didn't even forget in our world. I'm saying in the wine world, people were saying 21 was not a great year. And by the way, people get confused with that stuff because just because it may not be the best vintage in Saint Emilion doesn't mean it's not going to be a good vintage in Burgundy. Yeah, they're very different things. But overall, 21 was a down year, and overall, it's said that 22 is, and I've found both those things in general, but there are great 21s and there are, I'm sure, bad 22s. So
I
if you're
just
just,
sometimes I have like Van de Tab, just like these
yeah,
Regan, just simple 22s, and they're fantastic.
yeah, well, listen, that was the case with what I just said there, Rothschild. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a simple wine, I would say, and Rothschild really, especially with the recent, um, I forgot her name, Anne, I think. It's funny because the current generation of Rothschilds are not Jewish even. They're not Jewish. Of course they're from Jewish family, Rothschilds for centuries, but there's so much intermarriage over the years. They're not even Jewish anymore. Um, but the current woman who runs the winery or the wine arm, she's really like put a lot of money into it and put a lot of effort into it, and they're producing great wines. They're and all over the world. And it's interesting because it's another place that we're going to get. That's why we get for instance, you have the Malbec from Argentina
Hmm.
is through Rothschild. You have the Rimapier, the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc is
Right.
Rothschild. And so they're making really world-class affordable wines kosher. And I think that's very cool that they put that effort into it. I mean, because why do the Rothschilds need to do that? But they
Right.
do. And we shouldn't take that for granted. And
I
maybe
don't think so.
I'll write her the opposite letter I'm going to write to Jancis Robinson. Listen, the Rothschilds, the Israel wine industry would, and Adam Montefiore, Adam says he listens to this. And I'm going to ask him if
Adam, can we have you on? We would love
he
to have you
said
on.
he would be on anytime we want. He told me. So it's really like I'm nervous to have him on because Adam, I look up to him so much because he's, you know, I like to call myself a wine writer. I'm an amateur, like a lot of things I do. But he's a great writer, and he's in the and he's really the world-renowned wine writer from Israel. I mean, which is why he's in all these. Um, he's in the Bible of the one they put out every year of wine reviews and whatever, because he covers Israel. The what's it called? The Hugo Johnson. And he writes for Jancis Robinson. He's a very, very internationally well-known writer. So of course I'm intimidated by him. He's like a Rebbe to me. And I don't think I'm going to mention to him that we talked about it. I'm going to see if he actually listened this far in. Because he tells me he listens to every word, and he's been yelling at me like, "Why haven't you done?" And I said, we're gonna. He said, "Good." He said, "I really thought that you gave up on it, and it would be a crime for you guys to give up. It's great." And I'm not going to give us a pat on our own backs here, but yeah, I mean, world-renowned wine writers said that we're great. What can I tell you? But he wants to
Two
be on,
thumbs
and,
up.
and I think it's an important time for him to be on because, like, talk about Israel wine. I mean, it's great. Um,
Yeah, I'm curious about what's going to happen between the Bomb Vineyards and the Miluim. I foresee that these vintages now, like the harvest now, is going to be much less than in the past, and I don't know that as a fact, and no one's been talking about it yet. But it only makes sense to me that that's the reality.
it's been a difficult couple of years there. There's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and you see now, there's just such the fallout from the war is so terrible on several levels, and the mental health issues or the PTSD, and like imagine the people across, like it's such people forget that how few people are there, and like regular 40-year-old guy has been on Miluim for like endlessly,
Right.
and people were stripped out of their lives for 2 years, and it's and the terrible things they saw, and it's a crazy thing that I don't want to quote this because I don't know the numbers, but the I'm pretty sure that the majority of those killed were from, which is crazy,
A lot.
because there were so many reservists
A
killed.
lot. And there's a lot
And
of reservists because of course they're not in combat
for all kinds of reasons, of
yeah.
course, but it's a crazy thing because like that's what that country that's what it is. I mean, like the United States, that when you don't have 40-year-old guys in
We had a
Afghanistan and places
we
like
had an
that. I mean,
interesting conversation at Shul this week because I'm still saying the Misher Berach for the hostages because
still five there,
there's still five hostages, or there were six until Shabbos.
right?
We didn't know about it till after Shabbos, and
Right.
so people were saying, oh well, you're still saying the Misher Berach, and then somebody else said, well, you should also make a Misher Berach for all of the soldiers and all of the people who have been affected by the past 2 years, and I think that should not end. And it was interesting that that thought that, and where God willing very soon we're not going to be making the mishbeach for the hostages anymore,
Oh
and
man, oh man.
that to be able to make a mishbeach for those I think who really need it right now.
These are oh man, and these are scary, scary times, as evidenced by what you saw happen in the elections last week.
Yeah.
I think to myself, all signs are pointing for us to be there, and I'm still living here because I'm a wimp. But
You want to look
someone's
into a winery
hiring,
together?
yeah, that's what I say. Someone's like hiring two guys. Anyway, it was great to see you, and I know I said this last time, but I bleed there. I'm not gonna let us go that long. We will check in very soon.
This has been fantastic. It is just a pleasure to spend time with you, and let's do it again really soon.